Alright, we are back after some technical difficulties, but with how ahead we are of schedule anyways, that's not a problem, right? It's time for lore. We're doing some sciences run of Blind Forest here, done by Moonlight, and Jill is on commentary with me. Jill, ready for lore?
Oh, I am so ready. We already saw reverse lore of Will of the Wisps. Let's complete the whole story by starting from zero.
And then we can meet in the middle. That's sounding good. So we should probably tell Moon that we can start the run, right? So let's hit Moon a message.
Yep. So, one of the first runs where the runner isn't actually part of the presentation, and it's just the two commentators having fun. um, yeah, what can we expect here? So, pretty much, this is your standard all skills run, except we're not getting all skills, but instead getting all the world events. Is GTA explained in his Rio run, the world's events are defined via all the things that you can see in the pause menu. And additionally, Sein talks to us sometimes, not really in the speedruns, but if you play the game casually, he actually sometimes talks to you and tells you what to do. And the goal of this category is to follow this step by step. So, for example, first we have to go to visit the big tree in the background and then listen to Sein tell us what to do there. So, quite in the beginning, we're gonna have a bit of deviance. Well, not super early on, we're still getting dash, but after that.
Yeah, and one kind of important thing is we do not need to watch all the lore. We need to watch the lore, which then updates an objective on your map. I should have the entire list in my head. I don't have it ready right now, but I can tell you that we're not allowed to skip the cutscene at Grove TP, and we need to do all of them in order. That's the entire point of Sein says. So we're not actually gonna listen to Sein. He's still gonna be silenced by our UI being off, but we're gonna see him float around a lot.
Yeah. And Sein is gonna tell us to do stuff. Moon is gonna listen. Kind of fitting, Moon. Moon wrote what Sein will say. Moon is listening to Sein is saying. All working out. And the estimate, we'll have to see whether the estimate is going to be accurate or not. Moon has already warned both Xem and me that he might not be feeling super confident about some of the tricks coming up, namely fast stompless, as well as we've been informed about some shenanigans happening in Grotto, potentially, maybe. We'll point that out when it comes to it. Yeah, and also we are aware of the timer. I guess we'll have to see by the end of the run. Unfortunate. But tech issues are part of long streams. It's the law.
Also, Ori, it's even more in the lore. But yeah, for now we'll do a pretty standard opening here, and I'm saying that as we kinda enter the last parts of anything still being standard if you're used to our skills. We get an extra health cell here, so we're doing a safety HP route. We do not want to do 3 HP at all in this run. Um, but yeah, we're gonna grab our keystone here, then go down to wall jump tree, and once it's time to go up, it's gonna be a tiny bit different than before.
Yeah, we, as mentioned, need to go to the spirit tree. But for now, let's see if the XP lines up. Sometimes the XP just doesn't want to line up. And that's annoying, but all works out in favor. Also worth mentioning is that the XP management in this category is quite a bit different because we also get into Ginso, and if you've run all skills before the swamp entry was found, you know that you kind of want to do core skip to save a bunch of time, so that requires a timed level up, and hopefully that will be gotten.
This is the first time I've seen that Ori is actually getting reflected by the water in front of water. Anyways, yes, we do need all world events, and that includes cleaning that beautifully reflecting water. and that means we cannot skip Ginso, and doing both of the puzzle rooms is a bit slow. For now, let's see if Trojan Lock is nice to Moon. Yes, very nice. We're getting up and then some nice left side jump. There's the option for mini iceless here. I'm not sure if anyone thinks it's a good idea to go for it. Moon certainly isn't, so we're now gonna grab our extra keystones, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're on our way to some lore immediately, right?
Yeah, I think we get the TP and then head into Blackroot. So we first go to Grove. And yeah, you can tell Xem and I both definitely know this category. And totally haven't just seen 1 or 2 runs. But it is fairly straightforward. Sein literally tells you what to do, so just follow the voice of Sein. Ooh, some key dupe
Beeping,
setup.
indeed. So, with a bit of a different route, we do not have that extra keystone you have in all skills to go into Grotto. So we're gonna need to get some keystones from a different point. However, we need to also go through the upper door here, which consumes all 4 keystones you can find in Spirit Caverns. Luckily, there is a consistent but a bit finicky key duping setup here on the way up, where you wanna be standing on the edge of the door and then backflip into the shot. And yes, very nicely done. That respawns you with all 3 keystones connected. Now just don't take a death, because you don't have the rekindle you need to actually keep the keystones through a death. But Moon has run this category a lot. It's just Spirit Caverns, so we can now recollect our keystones and take some extra ones into the later parts of the run.
Yeah, nobody has ever died in Glades. Never.
Mm-hmm. We're all getting out of Glades on every attempt of our runs. We all know
Yes.
that. Alright, with
But
that,
this is
we have...
looking good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is looking very very smooth movement through Spirit Caverns. Absolutely no problems. Even going for the ghost door here. Nicely done. And it's time for some Sein will show us around the map. We will obviously still skip the cutscene, but as mentioned, we can't skip the entire animation of getting this teleporter since it updates the map.
Yeah, as Muffin has mentioned earlier during the All Skills run, this is basically a 1.5 minute thingy. Luckily we can press skip cutscene here, but now Sein is gonna open the map and talk to us about the Ginso tree. I'm sure you all can hear Sein saying where to go in this very moment. And this is the thing why we actually needed to watch this. There at the end we got an objective marker added to our map, and that is the goal of the category, have those in order. Moon obviously closed the map immediately because what actually looking at it is slow. But with that objective marker set, we are now allowed to actually reach the Ginso tree. And yes, that means even if we go into Grotto, we cannot actually get the water vein before we have seen the Ginso tree door ourselves.
Yep. So the routing from here on out quite differs. But as mentioned, we're now getting back into Blackroot, or no, towards Blackroot, because after all, Dash is a very fast skill. And you kind of want to have it ASAP. Since this is going with the standard no out of bounds teleport anywhere rule set, you really, really just want to get air dash and charge dash and all those nice things as soon as possible. Of course, we will not get grenade because that would just take some time, but dash is worth it in almost all the categories. I think only 0 XP avoids it on purpose.
Yeah, in 0 XP there's been a lot of timing, and turns out the charge dash and air dash are really what make it that fast. But in this category we do have the option. And one really nice thing, since we needed to get that objective in FC Flame from the start, we can skill air dash whenever we want, basically, and don't have to wait to actually come back from right side and so on. Of course, XP needs to line up to and we need to not need ability points for other shenanigans, but we have the option to do it. Alright, now first part of Blackroot done. Orb is triggered and will now float back to us whenever we stop moving for a while. And since we got 100 XP earlier from the Sea Flame area, we don't actually need the 100 EXP up in the little orb vault. So with this, we are heading over to the lasers and then doing all the cutscene stacking shenanigans that we've seen earlier in the different runs.
Yeah. So just your standard Blackroot besides that minor difference in terms of XP routing. Cycles. Who doesn't love it? Who doesn't love cycles? Especially in this game.
Yeah, a bunch of 8-second cycles. You gotta love it. You can see Moon turning on the UI here so he can check his EXP values. It's looking fine for me, especially we are not doing magnetless. So really anything up to 18 is more than fine here. And with this we are reaching the
Oh no!
platforms. Misses the cycle by just a little bit. So some nice orb juggling here, of course. It's just so Sein the orb can play a bit with Blackroot orb the orb, and for no other reason.
Yes. Having all the orbs. Isn't there also a speedrun to have all the orbs on one place? I roughly remember something like that. I don't think I've ever seen it. But that sounds like a fun time.
Does the tumbleweed count as one of the orbs in that case?
I don't think so, no. I think it's just Forlorn, Blackroot, and Sein.
We need to upgrade this. But time for actually doing some cutscene skipping here. Sein is not talking to us about our new DLC area, which means we can just place down the save, put in the orb, go back, rekindle it, then reload, and hopefully jump into just the correct trigger as all of this plays. And the nice backflip setup here gets us control of Ori, and now all we need to do is not take a gigantic fall into the Blackroot pit.
That's impossible. No, actually, Moonlight managing to do the impossible. And now we get to meet our beloved friend, Billy. And hopefully he'll help us in getting to Grotto, because turns out this is still faster than going around all the spider sack shenanigans. So we will lure this Frankie, kill it, input energy into the door, level up from the XP of the Frankie, and put in 2 more energy. Really nice, really out of sequence, but Sein doesn't tell us not to do it, so we can do it. And it also doesn't give us any event as long as we don't go down to the bridge and collect the water vein.
The one trick we haven't managed to ban in any category except for 0 XP. You know what 0 XP should do? Go for the 10% energy drop and energy glitch it. I'm sure Baron would love that. Hey Baron, here, you can thank me later for your new route. But now we're actually in Death Gauntlet, and we both got a convenient health drop, and Moon did just the correct movement to not get hit by the jumping Frankie anyways. So now we can get our 3rd energy, and well, nice pause float there to not jump off the wall. And we kinda need to take a bit of a detour before we can go down to water vein and double jump.
Okay, one question for your route divergence in 0 XP. How would you ensure to not pick up any XP then?
That's for Baron to find a setup.
Fair enough, fair enough. And more pause floating, because since we didn't go down yet, we don't have double jump. So pause floating is our best option, and here's some nice damage, some nice invincibility frame usage to be able to get to this next cutscene that updates our map. We will, of course, also get the teleporter on the way, because we will need it later in numerous instances. One, to get up to the tree, and then, of course, also to get to horror later. But yeah, normal shenanigans here. Actually not, because we need to watch this cutscene in order for Sein to talk to us and tell us, oh no, we have to get this back. We need to find him. But we won't follow him, but instead just go to this teleporter, teleport back to Grotto, and get the water vein this way. We will also get double jump. No worries. We will not just skip the bridge and get to the water vein immediately. Although that would be fun.
True, it would be fun, but sadly, it both costs a valuable ability cell and it doesn't do anything to speed the run up. So we're not doing it. Instead, we're falling down. Let's see if Moon is going for a God Cycle. No, I honestly, very understandable. I like getting crushed by it, by the 1 frame gap. That's always fun. But for now, yeah, we have more than enough keystones since we have some left over from earlier, and we're even gonna get some extra from down here. Setting up for the damage boost on the spider there. Doesn't get the first spider shot, so it's instead gonna take 2 Fronky hits, and with that, we are getting down towards double jump tree, and then we can, yeah, kinda progress a bit more normally in the speedrun sense through our world.
Yeah. So we'll climb up the walls, and we all know grotto walls are the best walls and never caused any issues. Let's see how Moonlight deals with them. So far, really nicely. Also, quick reminder that Moon is Frenchy, so we might or might not see some baguette jumps happening. Let's see how it works out for him.
Yeah,
I personally always hope for for baguette jump.
I mean, obviously, get the baguettes ready in chat if it happens. First, very nice grotto skip here, first try. And now let's see if we get it. That's good spacing. And there's the first try, baguette jump. Very nice, French confirmed. And now we get a cutscene we actually do get to skip, so time to climb up.
Yeah, these stones are really dangerous to deal with in your speed game, so we just don't. We just skip them for most of the categories. And this cutscene luckily doesn't really update anything, it's only the cutscene after, so we can skip this one as well and go towards Gumo, handing out the water vein back to us. And we actually watch this one because, yet again, this is one that updates the map. And now we have it, and now we can go back towards Ginso Tree. Also, Moon mentioned that he will go 5 HP mostly, so he has a damage boost for Sorrow Pass, and so he can do miscellaneous things to using that extra health. Which, honestly, fair enough. 5 HP is really comfy.
It is super comfy, and you can do some really fancy damage boosts with it in Gin, so both Muffin and I like to play with this in all skills with the early 5th HP cell from God World, and honestly it doesn't lose that much time. So yeah, we have 5 of those tasty cabbages now, and can use those however we so please. For now, however, we're gonna reuse the Swamp TP that we got earlier when we were actually getting our map objective, and it is now time for the Ginso tree and going for the door animation skip. Let's see if we're also going for game storage. No, so just one skip. Sein talking to us. To be fair, it's kinda in the spirit of the category, even if Sein isn't actually saying anything. And now it's time to ascend until we finally get our trusty badge.
Is Sein talking if nobody can hear him?
Look, the toggle UI is just like the mute button on Discord.
Okay. So Sein is talking, but we're just like, nah. IRL mute.
If only it was so simple sometimes. Anyway, back into the Ginso tree, going up around and now through the portal room. We do have a bunch of HP here, so we're not gonna take the intentional death. Instead, we're gonna use Charge Flame to do a nice redirect. There's also one at the upper one, and if you go for that in a run, you are absolutely crazy. So we're gonna stick with one and then get the upper one on the second cycle. Short energy refill, because we can use this energy to make trigger work on the mini boss. We actually have Charge Flame, and Yes, very nice. Got the redirect on the first one, so that is about, I would say, 40% of its health gone, and then 2 more thief lamps, and yeah, good job.
Yeah,
That's
3
no more mini
cycle.
boss.
3 cycle with magnets good. This is the way to go.
Take note, all skills.
Yeah, but as mentioned, we have 4 keystones now, so we can actually input them before getting into this room, which some other categories do, but if you have the old skills memory, you might not be too familiar. And it also means you don't need to do the ghost door. So can preserve all the health, doesn't need to do the damage boost here. And now we have Bash. And Bash lets us do all the things it does let us do in old skills, so even though we're gonna progress all the way up and we're gonna hear some good music, yeah, we will also get to see some other uses of this later on. For now, yeah, one of the hardest things is still the XP to keep track of. Remember that we want to use that core skip in about 3 rooms, so hopefully that will work out.
Yeah, going for some double bashing here. We key-cubed all the way back in Spirit Caverns, which means no need to key-cube here. We're just gonna get our 4 keystones, keep the 2 extra ones we had all the time, and can just use them in Swamp immediately once we want to do a nice little ghost door again. And now it is time for a very, very hard and complicated fight where we use Bash a few times on this Elemental. Yep, that's very, very, very complicated fighting.
Hardest boss
Anyway.
in any game ever. Countless Oris left their lives there. Okay, all jokes aside, this is the core we're gonna skip. So basically how it works is that there's brambles on either side, and we can use a level up explosion to kind of kill the brambles on both sides. And that is what we're trying to do, because only getting the side on one is fast. But with this, we don't even have to go to the other side. So now we can start the escape and have some good music. Enjoy.
There we go, nicely done. Yeah, Ginso Tree, don't even need to skip the water. Also means we actually have clean water now, and we get to hear nice music. That's honestly the best part about this category. We need to do both Ginso and Forlorn Escape, especially Forlorn Escape.
You mean especially Ginza Escape?
Especially Forlorn Escape, yep, I agree with you. And now we can use those 2 keystones we have stolen all the way from Glades to get us into Stomp without doing any swimming, because even though we did clean the water and swimming is supposedly good for your health, it's also very slow and we don't really like that in our runs. And now, since we actually have 5 HP, we can take all the damage boosts on these walls that we want. That allows us to not wait for the second shot, get a stomp, and with that, right side of the map pretty much done. It is time to go to other places.
Yeah, going to the left side. And if you listen to Muffin's commentary on the old skills run, you might have heard that Swamp entry was found during randomizer. And of course, this category has existed longer than the trick of Swamp entry, so now we'll actually see the true legacy version of how to get out of Swamp after getting Stomp without swimming. And this is this. After we get the ability cell, you basically do a save anywhere to Stomp and then die to preserve your momentum towards that wall. or in this case, you can also, of course, reload. And that means we can get through here without going the lower route and do all the slow swimming, because in this game, there's no water dash or
Yeah.
swim dash or whatever. So you can't, unfortunately, use dash underwater.
Unless play rando with bonus hits. But anyways, yeah, this is actually a pretty modern version of Drainless. There were a lot more finicky things where you just need to walk off the edge by placing a save mid-air, so you then safe drop onto the ground and so on. But the mid-stomp save anywhere makes this a lot more nice to do. Gets us out of Swamp. We don't need to deal with anything like Kuro cutscene skip in this category because we have all the TPs in the world. So we teleport right over to the left side of the map, stomp down the pack, and now it is time to see if Stompless is going to be nice to us at all today.
Yep. And also, yeah, to just hope to get that trick. It's a very finicky trick, and Moon has said that he has problems with it from time to time, which, well, it doesn't save a whole lot of time. It's like 10 seconds, I think. Probably 8, if I know the game. But it is very nice to get it, and it is very satisfying to watch. So hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, gonna go bash up here, get into position, line up the spider shot using a visual cue on the wall, race down to unload a wall that's in the way so the shot can go through it. Also connecting this ability cell, and sadly the angle was a bit off, so no satisfying camera snap. We'll see if Moon goes for it again or is going to... Yeah, that's the positioning. I bash buffer while walking to the left, doing some nice racing again, and this time we don't need the cell anymore, so we can just wait at our save, but looks like the angle was off a little bit again. So we'll just see if Moon decides to give it a few more shots.
Oh no!
But the spider shot in the face did also not rekindle, I think, after getting the cell, so I would assume we're seeing at least one more attempt on this, yeah.
I mean, I can totally understand just wanting to get this trick. It is a really nice trick to get. Yeah, and there
and
we
that's
go.
why we're getting it here. Very nicely done. Sometimes it just takes a reset from save to immediately get it, and with that, Kuro's feather is slowly falling down, and then we're going to Sunstone, right?
Well, no, since this is Sein says, the next thing we need to do is actually get the Gumon seal, but Sein doesn't prohibit us from getting charge jump first, so that is actually what we're doing. We're gonna do the old skills route of skilling charge dash, and ooh, nice variation of getting this frog, so you don't need as much height. And now we're going to do Sorrow Bash. One of the main reasons Moon actually got those 5 HP is because the spikes in the entrance of Sorrow deal 4 damage. So if you have 5 HP, you can take 1 hit. Also goes for the double bird setup. Very nice. That is looking like you need a damage boost, and there we go. Very nicely done.
Yeah, did take the damage boost, but that's what you know, if you explicitly go for the 5th health cell, then you can also go for a setup that takes the damage there, and with that we're through Sorrow Bash without any problem. Still have our health, have our energy, not gonna go for not quite gonna go for a saveless ghost door variation here. Instead we're gonna get our nice little keystone up here. After all, we did go to Sunstone in the end, and with that, go to charge jump.
Well, not quite Sunstone in vanilla game, but yeah, we're getting to charge jump, and I do believe we will also go up to the teleporter for later activation. So we can get to Sandstone a bit quicker and don't need to do the entire sequence again. And indeed, that's what's happening. That's just what I like about this category. You get to see all the parts that you don't normally see in other categories. Like, there's barely any category that gets the teleporter or even goes through this area.
So what you're saying is we need science as all dungeons, so we actually don't skip the entirety of horror. Yep, you're saying that. Alright, thank you for agreeing with me. And now, very nice, going for the C-dash hyperspeed save, which both refills energy and does this, getting you all the way into Misty with a bunch of speed preserved through that save. And yeah, as we've seen before, Misty is a very fun part of the game where you get to really utilize those charge dashes. It really helps that Misty is so horizontal too in a lot of places, so we can kinda chain our charge dashes with conveniently placed enemies spaced about 2 charge dashes apart to just fly through without using any energy at all. And at the storage cutscene coming up, that's about the halfway marker on the tree, on the way to the tree. Turn around, quick check on energy levels, and then we'll meet Clyde very soon.
Yeah, and another neat part about this category is that we actually need to carry the orb, which is also something that doesn't happen in a lot of categories. Well, actually, not true. All the categories that need to go into Forlorn and are inbounds need to do it. But nevertheless, I just like seeing it. It's always a bit painful because you aren't allowed to use dash with it, but it's just a part of the game you barely get to see. So I'm excited for that. But let's look at the execution up until this point. It's looking fairly smooth. Let's see
Yeah.
if we get a safety save.
Nope, no
Nope.
safety safe here, and that would have been value, but laser right in front of that. Also not quite getting around the corner there, but now we're back into business. One kind of finicky thing is that frog likes to not die sometimes, especially. Yeah, I've had that frog not die a lot, but now we're back into the laser area, and this time we actually get the jump, don't get scammed out of our jumps, which means we can now enter the second half of this approach, not going for the stomp, stall, cancel thing, especially on one energy. We do actually need to conserve a little bit right now, so Icy going for that. Oh, doesn't get the bash glide, but recovers without a problem, does not actually hit spikes, and now we get some extra energy, and yeah, still opting to not go for the safety save, because we only have 3 energy, and there's 2 rocket jumps coming up immediately. Opting to skip one to conserve a bit more here, I like this a lot. That allows us to then not need to worry about rocket jumping here or spending an extra energy potentially on the mini boss. Instead, we get to enter the room with 3 entire energy if Magnet decides to work. And let's see if we see anything. Well, that one exploded. And the other one, I think that counts.
Yeah, that counts for sure. Also, due to XP management in this category, you don't actually level up here, which is interesting because it means that all the energy preserving was actually on purpose because we need a bunch of energy to skip all the cutscenes coming up. Because, yeah, ain't nobody got time for the Goomons here cutscene.
Hey, all we need is for Sein to tell us to go to Forlorn. We don't need to know anything before that, right?
Yes. Ooh, also the bash orb grab. I like that a lot. Oh god, slime goop everywhere.
Yeah, this area in particular is so spooky, and the one shot, no, flying in a long arc, sadly getting sniped. It's crazy what kind of angles these slimes can do with the sniping.
Yeah, they just always shoot their goop where you least expect it to get to. Dang. Oh well,
And
second tries the charm, right?
and
Oh,
sadly, this is one of those areas like in Blackroot. Good luck speeding it up. It's kinda an auto scroller. Also, Alright, opting to drop down the orb and use some stomp combat
oh
here.
god.
Back down to 1, probably wants to kill that slime too. Yeah, doing that for safety. And that is all enemies before our next save point. So we're done with carrying this orb. You're staying here and we are gonna get the dungeon key instead.
Yes. So as you said, we're skipping all the parts that don't lead to Sein updating the map and just keep that one. I think there's also going to be some blind movement while Sein explains what to do next. So let's see how that goes.
Is Sein updating the map, and now we're just charge jumping, charge dashing, out of sight, out of mind. At some point there's gonna be a camera snap. Nice hit valley. Did unload the background there of Misty, and good camera snap. Oh my god, all the way under the fax area. That's... I would be too scared to take that dash glide over the 3 HP spikes if I'm on 3 HP, but sure, Moon is just going for it, absolutely nails that blind movement, and with this, we're on our way to Forlorn Ruins. Best as
Yeah, everyone excited for this area that we never get to see. I think we got to see it in Ruby's rando for a bit and a bit in Dash with Friends, but for the most part, it's this area on the map that you don't really care about. So, let's go. Some Forlorn action. And we will, of course, also get to see some lore. Sein again won't talk to us, but we know it's there. And unfortunately, also the dead Gumon. And nice cutscene skip. Let's go. Let's go. And Forlorn is actually one of the main reasons why we get charge jump before going into Misty, because it just allows to skip half the area, half the puzzles.
Yeah, and very nice, like both damage boost and augmented damage boost on the same damage instance. They are jumping up the red hot wall. Now we have our save anywhere up, and there's some shenanigans we can do in Forlorn. No, this isn't out of bounds. We just press charge dash. It's not our fault that Ori's hitbox extends like 10 kilometers into the cutscene trigger, and we're now on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, that is 100% intended to be inbounds. No questions asked. So now we can do this cutscene, and wow, that is a movement. That is interesting. I love that. Oh god, letting in
Oh,
spikes.
those are spikes indeed, but now some more lore. As Gumo says hi. I'm sure there will be nothing happening with Gumo being here. There won't be any inconveniently timed things as we grab the Wind Restored pickup, I'm very sure. But now that it's loaded in, we actually have an autosave, have some control back, and can jump up to the Forlorn escape. And banger alert!
Yeah, the second best escape music in this game. Let's go. I think we'll let you enjoy this one as well.
Just way too short for the objectively best soundtrack in the game. But anyways, now it's time for a nice little skip here. Hey, I actually found this setup where you do an up dash and then go all the way over Q, and no, this is inbounds. Trust me, I'm an engineer. With this, we have skipped sad lore and instead entered the cat and mouse sequence. which is the one that updates the map. So no sad lore needed. We can just go all the way up here, double bash the lantern, barely make it fast enough. The wall is already gone because we stomped it earlier, and with this, we have escaped and the map updates.
Perfect. No sad lore needed. And after we get out of the area with the second best soundtrack in the game, we can now move on to actually get the Sunstone. So our objective now is just to get to the nearest teleporter and teleport back into Sorrow to get up to the Sunstone and collect it. And yeah, yet again, we can't skip that cutscene actually.
Yeah, Sunstone cutscene is something we actually need to watch because getting the Sunstone isn't what tells you to go to horror. No, it is finishing watching the cutscene. So get your coffee ready, get your tea ready, get some snacks ready. That cutscene will take a while. It's nice for stretching hands and for reminiscing about how great the best escape soundtrack was that we just heard before. Also, speaking of great music, completing the circle, amazing. And now here's the only climb sea jump hyperspeed I know of in normal categories. We're mimicking a grenade jump by doing a hyperspeed save off the wall, then dying to the lasers. And that will get us up to Sunstone pretty fast so we can actually watch our cutscene.
Yeah, and while we watch that cutscene, maybe it's a good time to talk about the upcoming schedule. We have next up Any Percent You, the shortest category of Will of the Wisps, presented by Snowstorm. That is going to be pre-recorded. And after that, some live rando action featuring Muffin and Xem. First, a normal rando seed by Muffin, followed by a bingo seed by yours truly, Xem. We will have both of them on commentary as well as Eiko, so that will be very exciting. And after that is something you definitely don't want to miss, the MQO4 race with some secrets happening, both in the run and potentially after, we will see. And yeah, great action coming up. Don't want to miss any of it. As well as this cutscene where Naru gets back to life. It's a great cutscene.
Spoilers or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, as said before, speedruns are kind of spoiler intensive.
Can't really get around spoilers in our lore percent run, But yeah, with that, we did get the Sunstone. It's right there. And oh, you saw the map for a moment. That means we are finally legally allowed to leave. If the cutscene hasn't finished after 15 minutes, you are legally. And with that, we are going back to our teleporter that we have unlocked earlier already and going to the other teleporter, Swamp TP, because we have nothing left to do. All there's left between us and victory is a giant angry burp.
Yeah, because Sein actually doesn't tell you to go and do all 8 rooms of horror. Sein just says restore the warmth. And guess where the warmth is? Just at the escape. So we are allowed to just do the door warp to the end of the dungeon. Oh, unfortunate death. Luckily, backtracking from the TP doesn't take too long, but oh well. We get to collect the ability cell again. And we'll see if Moon decides to go for 6 HP or not. Nope, doesn't look like it. 5 HP is plenty, so that should be fine.
Yeah, especially this is no warm skip. We kinda not really allowed to skip warm return if we need all world events. Sadly, there is like a small rule problem there about doing that. So that means that we do actually need to collect it, get a refill. Fish cycles are nicer without warm skip. Fight me, I don't know if that's actually true. It feels that way for me. So
And
I'm
more importantly, we have clean water.
true.
Because we also did that event. So
That is very true. Yeah, now that you mention it, 6 HP on clean water might be a bit overkill.
it's
Nice
common.
first try door warp, by the way.
Yeah.
Just wanna mention that. Very, very nicely done. We all know how that trick likes to infinite you, and unlike in random where you can just go to violence, normal run categories don't really have that option due to there being lava in the way. But okay, gets the storm cancelled a little bit short. That is lava. That is a toasty Ori. Sadly, that's also a respawn. But for now, we have reached the lava room and just need to do like 2, 3 more rooms without dying here to gain our Sein says completion.
Yeah. And it looks like we will be underestimated. So, nicely done. Unfortunately, this category can't do a grenade jump because we don't have grenade, but it can do fish strats. Oh, that fire still hurts.
The fire is still very hurt. The fish got toasted. Sadly, Ori got. What did we say? We quantum tunneled ourselves into a giant fire. Sadly, that's not very good for our health. 6 HP wouldn't have done any different for that either, though. So now let's go back into the final room. Let's see if Moon is gonna do some fish double bashes again. Well, definitely doing fish bashes here, and that position looks nicer. Gets the rocket jump, flies up. GG Moon. Enjoy holding it right for your minute 20 or whatever. I'm sure I will learn the exact time at some point. And great job here on the run.
Yeah, GG. Absolutely great showcase of the category. And wow, amazing run overall. Great to see some stuff. Of course, there was like slight problems, but the most important thing worked out. Baguette jump.
So true. Both Grotto and Baguette jump. First try, and honestly, does anything else matter when you get your first try Baguette jump? And
Yeah.
yeah, we've done most of our stuff. One last talking to Sein, flying to the 4th dungeon in the game, or something like that. Whoops, burp in the way. And once we have passed that one specific tree, everyone knows exactly which tree because I said it's the specific one. That will be when we get our final time for Moon here.
Yeah. Definitely sub 50. Great showcase. GG to him.
Narrow hops?
Yeah, narrow hops. Let's go.
GG.
GG. Fine. Optimized to lose like 3 seconds on that. Perfect. Just for that 46-17. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks again for commentating with me. Hey, thanks Moon for showing this off. I hope you have a great time watching this back. And now, next up, it's, as you mentioned, we have AC No You, done by Snowstorm, commentated by Snowstorm immediately after this, which is then followed by Double Rando from Muffin and me, and then MQO, and then a relay race, and then a multi. We have so much content. Don't go anywhere.